What's up, creative people? So, summer is here, it's hot and I love it. August is just around the corner, so another bullet journal video is due, as you might imagine. And since it is summer and we spend a lot of our summer at the seaside, because we're lucky like that, and even for those of you who might not be so lucky this year, or in general you prefer to go somewhere else, summer is still kind of related to the sea theme, so I made another sea themed bullet journal for the month of August. I know I already made a sea themed journal for July, but we like to be in the summer in July and in August, so stick with me. This one is different, I promise. It has a little bit different aesthetic and maybe some of you might even prefer this one. So just give it a shot. This time I didn't stick to just fish like I did in my previous July bullet journal. This time I took many different sea creatures. This is my cover and it's done in different techniques. We'll do our monthly and our trackers today in the video. I'll use some custom made stamps that I made from fun foam with punches and the die cuts. I made this small little stamp for the tracker, and this kind of bubble stamp I just glued a piece of fun foam onto the lid. I think this one was from milk. We drink a lot of milk here. And I got these stamps that were perfect for my monthly, as you can see, and also for my tracker. So I don't have to draw all the circles or make all the grids. It takes a bit of time to do that, and if you make this kind of stamp, you got it. And all the months that have 31 days and end on Wednesday will be suitable. And of course you can make this part as I did, that is removable, and you can position it here and you can put just 2 or 1 and then you'll get it for another month. And if somebody wants to know how I made these stamps, I can make a separate video about it. But for now, let's plan our bullet journal first, so we know what to do in August. For the cover, I sketched an image and then traced over the title with my dark blue marker. I think it was Indigo Blue Pit Pen by Faber-Castell. I added a little calendar with the fine liner and started outlining the image, but figured the banner would look bolder if I used Pit brush pen. I used the same pen to outline the banner and seaweed branches around the little drawing. Then I traced over the pencil sketch of my octopus with fine liners, or as they're called here, technical pen. This one is refillable from Rotring, that I have wished for a long time and finally splurged on. It's a really good pen and I use it every day, so I think I'll get my money back. I love the fact that it's so easily refillable, and I love the quality of the ink. But any fine liner would do, even Sharpie would work. I then used the little eraser that you get at the end of your technical pencil to stamp the little dots on my monthly calendar, and other round foam stamps were used to stamp the background. The rings or hoops were made with the top part of a glass pipette that I bought for my kids when they were toddlers to exercise their fingers in a fun way. Now I confiscated it for my arts and crafts. The top part is rubbery and it stamps beautifully. I colored in the banner with light blue marker and everything else with watercolors. I could easily use watercolors on the banner as well, because pit pens are waterproof once dried. But I had a marker there, so I used it. With watercolors, I lay down the base wash first, and I color every detail in one color first, then move to the next one, and so on. Here, I first painted all the red starfish, then the pink jellyfish, then moved to the shipwreck, octopus, and finally to the little seahorse. This makes the process faster and allows for things to dry in between. By the time I was done with the base layers, everything was dry, so I could go over the shadows with the darker tones. I just put the shadows underneath two overlapping parts since the light is coming from above. Lastly, I painted in the sea background. It would be smart to do that first, but I only decided it post festum. It's advisable in watercolors to start with the lighter tones because the darker ones might bleed. You have a bit more wee room if you use outlines, but it's still a good practice to follow. Do as I say, not as I do moment. For the monthly, I wrote the title, name of the month, and stamped days with my DIY handmade stamp from fun foam circles cut in a die cutting machine and glued to the lid. As you can see, I first tested it on a piece of paper and compared it to a print of corkscrew to see which one I will like better. Corkscrew will give you more texture and grunge, but here I wanted a bit more subtle background, so I decided on a plain circle. It also looked more like bubbles. I outlined the illustration of the starfish with a technical pen, or you could use fine liner. I added in the dates and colored the starfish, and my monthly was done. For the trackers, the same approach was utilized. First, I wrote a title with brush pen and colored the pencil eraser with it to stamp the dot on the eye. Then inked over the seahorse with my rotring pen, or you could use any fine liner, of course. Then I took my trusty old circle stencil ruler and added bubbles for the days of the month and colored everything in with watercolors. The same thing on the tracker page, brush calligraphy title in my very wonky writing and a small illustration on the bottom. I like to keep my tracker page simple because otherwise I tend not to use it. I'm terrible at filling it every day, so I usually do it for the past few days and it's hard for me to know where to put the crosses if the layout is not very clear. That limits my artistic freedom to a degree, but with bullet journaling, utility is more important to me. I outlined the jellyfish with pen and colored it with watercolors. Jellyfish are a wonderful subject because you can hardly get that wrong. Same with colors. Both jellyfish and seahorses are found in all colors of the rainbows, so you're safe there. Lastly, I added dates on my mood tracker to the bigger bubbles. And some smiley and frowny faces to my mood tracker legend. For the heavy trackers, I use the same stamp that I have shown you in the beginning of the video, and you can see how it's made here. I just glued punched out circles from fun foam onto another piece of fun foam and glued this to a piece of recycled cardboard. I made a handle with a small piece of masking tape. A genius trick I learned here on YouTube years ago, but I'm so sorry I have no idea whom from, some paper lady. When I stamp with this kind of stamp, I press it down from all sides so that the impression is nice. I recommend this approach with old stamps that don't have sturdy wooden or plastic backing. Cardboard is nice since it's so thin and portable, but it's less sturdy, so keep that in mind. And here's my whole bullet journal setup finished. You'll see the weeklies next week, and I hope to see you next Friday. Subscribe and hit the bell to be notified, and join me on Friday for some more sea fun. See you!